Good afternoon. Today's shiur is on Pirkey Avot part 3. B'Shem Hashem Naaseh V'Natzliach. This shiur is for refuah shlema to Ora Badalia, Shimon Daniel ben Michal, התינוק בן נתלי הדסה, התינוקת אהובה בת טובה, אברהם בן חנה, זכריה בן פרל שירה, דיצה הדס בת חנה. לעילוי נשמת, רחל בת יעקב, שושנה בת חיה, וכל הנשמות שזקוקות לזכות. שתהיה להם עלייה. For all singles, that Be'ezrat Hashem, they should soon meet their right partner in life, and she's kulif not bait ne'eman be'Yisrael. And tomorrow is Tu B'Av, which is our national holiday. It used to be in the time of the Bet HaMikdash, and all the girls used to go out and dance, and that's how they would find shidduchim. Now, for our soldiers, this shoe is also for our soldiers to come home safely, and for all the safety of Am Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael and all over the world. Thank you to all my listeners and supporters who subscribe and leave messages on YouTube and share the videos to spread Torah. Last but not least, thank you, Hashem, for all your chasadim that you have done with each and every one of us in the past and will continue to do so in the future. So to recap, in our previous shiurim, we learned about not to take revenge and not to hold a grudge. In today's shiur, we learn about Ahavat Yisrael. It is a mitzvah. A mitzvah means an obligation to love each and every Jew as we love ourselves. So exactly, how do we go about this? How do we do this? It's not that simple. That means that we must be concerned for every single Jew. Concerned, care for every Jew and for his property. Just like a person is concerned about his own self and his property, his money, his belongings, so too we must be concerned and caring and be careful about the other people's feelings, their property, and whatever belongs to them. The pasuk says, "Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha," and you shall love your fellow Jew as yourself. And as Chachamim teach us, "Da'alach seneh lechaverach la ta'avid," that which is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow Jew. And as Rabbi Akiva said, "Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah." It is a very great, it means very important principle, a very important law of the Torah. Meaning that why is he saying this? Because there are so many mitzvot that depend on the fulfillment of this mitzvah. Not to cheat, not to kill, not to be jealous, to give tzedakah. The mitzvot, there are so many of them. And because one who loves his fellow Jew will not cause him, he will not want to cause him any harm in any way, or steal from him, or take advantage of him. So the purpose of this mitzvah, the shoresh of this mitzvah, the core of this mitzvah is that we all follow this mitzvah and perform it properly. That's what we are supposed to do, to follow it and perform it properly and treat everyone the same way as they are supposed to be treated. Just like we want to be treated, that's what it means. And that way, there will be shalom among people. Yes? If I take care of you, and you take care of me, and we take care of other people, nobody is speaking Lashon Hara, nobody is hurting anyone's feelings, we enjoy each other's company, we only there to support each other and be happy for each other. Of course, there's going to be peace. And the mitzvah obviously include not speaking Lashon Hara and not to disgrace and not or not to embarrass another Jew, or even more, or be honored from a fellow's disgrace. As the Gemara says, המתכוות בקלון חברו, אין לו חלק לעולם הבא. What do we mean by that? That someone who's going to be honored by the disgrace of someone else. And the Gemara says, one who becomes honored because of someone else's disgrace, אין לו חלק לעולם הבא, doesn't go to עולם הבא. So for example, in a conversation, a person wants to impress his or her listeners by giving an unfavorable portrait, by speaking in a negative way about another, about someone else. Oh, you know this one? Yeah. Well, he's a very nice person, but you know, look what happened. So people are going to say, oh, wow. All right. People are going to give this person a little more respect. But what did he do? How did he get this respect? Because he spoke bad about the other fellow. And this is totally against the law of ve'ahavta le're'acha kamocha. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. There's a very sad story that there was a girl in a school in Israel where somehow they were in the classroom, they were bullying this girl. Kids in the classroom were bullying this girl. And however, there was just one girl who was nice to her. She would speak to her on the phone. She was nice to her. And one day, this class had a party. So the girl who was not popular, the girl who was being bullied, called up the girls who used to be nice to her. And she said to her, I don't want to go to the party. Everybody hates me. I'm just going to be standing up by myself, not having fun. And the other one was trying to bump her. No, come, I'll be with you and we'll do things together. We'll have fun. And she tried to bump her up. In the meantime, one of the girls who was a bully, called up this girl, the one who was nice. And she said, they were talking about the girl who was being bullied. Now, the girls who was nice did not realize that the girls who was being bullied was still on the line, and she could hear the conversation. So the bully was saying to the girl who was nice, she said, I don't understand why you stick up for her and you talk to her and you're nice to her. She's such a horrible girl. And she kept on really knocking down, constantly knocking down the girls who was being bullied. And out of pressure, this girl who was being nice, usually, said, yeah, you know, I agree with you. But, you know, she's a nabach, she's a miskena, you know, it's, this girl is, Nobody wants to be her friend, so I just do it because I feel sorry for her. But yeah, she has nothing good about her, and she went on talking like this. The girl who was being bullied heard it. She could not bring herself to say a word, but she heard the entire conversation. Then she hung up. This story did not end very well at all. As we hear about people who are being bullied to the point where they can't take it anymore. This girl, the one who was being bullied, is no longer alive. So this is exactly what the Torah is teaching us, that one cannot be honored on account of someone else. And such a person, en lo chelek le'olam haba. That person cannot get to olam haba. But one who behaves with love and care and is friendly and behaves peacefully with everyone and wants to have shalom and wants to be helpful and is happy for others and for their success. For this, it says in Yeshaya Hanavi, Israel becha et pa'er. Hashem said, Israel, you, Israel, I take honor. I am honored, Hashem says. He's honored for being our God, for being our Hashem, for behaving in such a beautiful and wonderful way. A Jew who has been able to overcome pettiness, small matters that really are not important. It's just not important. It's just not worth the fight. And selfishness. Then he is filled with goodness and generosity of spirit. He is the example of the moral perfection expected by the chosen nation. Such a person who knows how to shrug the pettiness, little things that it's okay, it's fine, let it go. Not a whole going to stand on this just to have a fight, just to get back now. But someone who just lets it go. That person is not bitter. Person really forgets about it. That person is filled with goodness and generosity. Such a person is behaving in exactly the kind of behavior that Hashem expects of us. The chosen nation, the Ha'am HaNivhar. We're chosen to reflect and to be a light into the nation. A light into the nation, it means to show the way, how to behave. And that's exactly what this person did. A Jew who has harmed a fellow Jew in any way, in his property or by humiliating him or physically or financially, he must pay damages to the person who was hurt. According that we have a guideline set by the Torah and Chachamim, and that person needs to pay damages to the person who was wronged. The Ramban has two questions regarding the mitzvah of Ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha. That's not an easy mitzvah to fulfill. Love someone else as much as I love myself. That's an extremely difficult mitzvah to fulfill. And the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe Bar Nachman, he says, the human heart is incapable of such selflessness. To be so not to be selfish so much as to love so much another person, it's almost impossible for a human being to do so. It is against human nature. Yes, we do find individuals who are really going to give all for others, but it is normally against human nature to love others in the same degree that we love ourselves. The second question that Rabbi Nachman had, and he says, we have another mitzvah in the Torah. Chayecha kodmim lechaye chavercha. Your life comes first before the life of your friend. What does this mean? So, for example, typical example, we have two people who are traveling through a desert. It's hot. They had water with them. But, however, one of them still has a small flask of water. And if he shares it with his friend, neither of them are going to make it. Both of them are going to die. So what should be done? But if he drinks it himself, he'll be safe enough to have some now and some later and reach safety. But both of them cannot drink from it and still be safe. So what should he do? So one Tana by the Shem of Ben Petura said that he should share even if both of them will die, but at least he won't be witness to the death of his friend. And this was accepted in the halacha until Rabbi Akiva came along. And he said, Chayecha kodmim lechavercha. No, don't share the water. Because if you don't share, you will survive. Unfortunately, your friend will die, but your life takes precedence to the life of your friend. Rabbi Akiva learned it from the pasuk, V'chai achicha imach, that let your brother live with you, imach, meaning that the obligation to support your brother's life applies only when your own life is protected. Then it's okay. But if your life is in danger, then you can't. Then chayecha kodmi lechayecha vercha. In that case, your life comes first, has a precedence before your friend's life. Then, how do we understand the halacha of ve'afta le'reacha kamocha? And Rabbi Akiva said it's a very important law of the Torah. So how do we do this? How do we go about loving someone else as much as we love ourselves? So Ramban says, Rabbi Moshe Ben Nachman, he says that the obligation is not to love someone as yourself, but one should love selflessly, and he should want to selflessly to desire and want what is good and want to care for his fellow Jew. That's what it means. In every aspect of life, just as one looks for his own benefit in every aspect of his life, so too he should want to and care enough to want good and care for someone else's life and property and anything else and not getting hurt. The Ramban explains further that sometimes a person who has love for his friend only for specific things and not for others. For example, he wants his friend to be blessed with wealth. Okay, right? And he wishes on him to be wealthy. But he doesn't want him to be as smart, or he doesn't want him to be as successful as he is. So Torah teaches us that this is jealousy. And it should not be in our heart, but rather one should desire and want goodness and success and the very best for his friend as much as he desires for himself. That is ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha. Without any limits, as we see in the example of Jonathan, the son of Shaul HaMelech and David HaMelech. They were such good friends. They cared so much for each other. They really loved each other so much. But Shaul was told that David wanted to kill him because David was supposed to be the next king after Shaul. So because of that, Shaul tried to kill David. But Jonathan knew the truth. And Jonathan supported David. And he said to David, I'm going to help you to be the next king because that's who Hashem chose. Hashem chose you. I'll be second to the king, even though he himself was supposed to be the next king after his father. Other Mefarshim explain the Ramban's two questions differently. They bring the Gemara that tells us the story of the Goy, the non-Jew, who wanted to convert. There was a non-Jew who wanted to convert. So he went, he asked, who should he go and see? They told him, go to Shammai. At the time, there were two great Chachamim, Shammai and Hillel. So he went to Shammai, and he said to Shammai, I want you to teach me, I want to convert, I want you to teach me while I'm sitting on one foot. Shammai said, get out of here. I don't have time for you. Send him away. Then he came to Hillel. And he said the same thing to Hillel. I want to convert, and I want you to teach me the entire Torah while I'm standing on one foot. And so Hillel did not push him away. But Hillel said, Ma shesanui alecha, al ta'aseh lechavercha. That is the entire Torah. Whatever is hated to you because you don't want people to do to you, don't do to others. Because by fulfilling this mitzvah, we'll fulfill many, many others. Hillel was using different words for teaching this non-Jew as about ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha, about this mitzvah of ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha. This mitzvah is given to us in the positive, ve'ahavta, love, that's positive. But ma shesanui alecha, al ta'aseh lechavercha, whatever is hated to you, don't do to your friend. That is negative. Don't, right? Hillel, in fact, was saying, it does not require one to do for a fellow Jew whatever he wants done for himself. No. The mitzvah of ahavta l'reacha is that the obligation is that one must avoid doing to a fellow whatever one does not want for himself. And therefore he says, whatever is hated to you, you don't want people to do to you, then don't do it to others. You don't want them to speak about you lashon hara, then don't. You don't like people to scream at you, then don't. You don't like people to steal from you, then don't. So according to the Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Mammon, and Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, why did Hillel use the negative aspect? Ma shesanui alecha al ta'as lechavercha. Don't do whatever is hated to you, don't do to others. Because the positive aspect of the mitzvah, ve'ahavta le'reacha, love your neighbor as yourself, means to look for someone else's welfare. Right? To the same extent as one requires for himself. That requires a deeper commitment, a deeper obligation, and a bond to another fellow Jew, that the negative aspect of ma shesanui alecha al ta'as lechavercha, taking care not to harm another, in any other way. It means when you feel the Rambam and the Ramban, both of them say, when you're close to someone, yes, then be careful. Honor him, don't disgrace him, don't take away his dignity, don't talk about him. Lashon hara. Respect him. Ve'afta l'reacha kamocha. That's according to the Rambam and the Ramban. So, may Hashem help us to fulfill this great, beautiful mitzvah in every